Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Winnie and this is Winning with Winnie. Alright y'all, so in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about 5 different universities that offer fully funded master's program in women's studies. So if you're ready, I am. Let's go! Alright y'all, before we start, I kind of just wanted to share a little bit about my experience in, working in women's. I currently work at the Women's Center, so I just want to talk a little bit about that, but also to share with you guys, for those who are interested in things like this, why it's important to kind of study this master's program. So my personal experience, so I have been working at a Women's Center for a little bit over a year and maybe like 6 months now, and it has been a great experience. I have learned so much. I have learned what it means to be a feminist. I have learned what it means to advocate for change, how to take other people on that journey with me as well, just different things that I just never knew. I've learned about gender equity and what that means. Even right now, for example, my university, we're doing this thing called the AAUW salary negotiation, and this is where we help people kind of teach them the techniques, the skills that they need to negotiate their salary. That's something a lot of us don't know. In women's studies or in general, we talk a lot about pay gap, why a woman doesn't make an equal to what a man makes. So just kind of we're trying to break those break those barriers. We talk about things like access to education, even access to menstruation products, things like this. These are things that are really I don't know, it's things you're passionate about, because it's things that's it's an everyday struggle for a lot of women. So I just think that this master's program is a great program that people should consider. So, and I think for me, I feel like it's very relevant. It's very it's something that's happening right now. It's there's different fields you can go into with it, and I feel like a degree in women's or sexuality studies or gender studies, they call it different things, I think it's very, how do I say this? You learn so much things from it. You learn literature, you learn history, the sociology component about it as well. And I think that in whatever job you end up getting, you're able to kind of apply a lot of the knowledge that you have into it as well. So I think this is an amazing program. I think you're being on the right side of history studying this, and you're learning how to advocate for people and how to kind of empower people to advocate for themselves as well. So I just think this is a great program. All right, y'all. So now let's get into the 5 different universities. University we're looking at is the Ohio State University, and in their Department of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, that's where this program is situated. So it says right here that they offer full funding during autumn and spring semesters for all admitted students, including international students. And it says that most students are funded via graduate associate positions, while other students are funded via fellowships. So let's click on here just to see a little bit about their funding. So it says for graduate teaching associates, it says that they make, so it says teaching assignments are performed in exchange for tuition and fee benefits. So international students are considered non-resident. So that means they would be covering $32,000 per year for you in regards to tuition waivers. And then there's also a health insurance subsidy, and also the current stipend. So they also have a stipend that they provide to you, which is currently $21,280 per year. And this is for departmental funding. And it also talks about fellowship funding. So it says a fellowship is a financial award made by Ohio State to support students during a portion of their graduate program. It says that incoming fellowships are awarded on the basis of academic merit through university-wide competition without respect to financial need. And then also, if you go down as well, there's different funding opportunities. So it says for the standard MA funding, it says that they cover for 4 semesters, and it says that GTAs are expected to work for 20 hours a week in exchange for tuition and fee waivers and a health insurance subsidy as well. And then it totals $21,280. And then for their PhD students, it's the same thing as well. And then they also provide different summer funding opportunities as well. So it says that for the summer, they cannot guarantee summer funding for all students, but they talk about the ways that they can provide this funding. So this is the first university. So if you're interested in women's rights, women's issues, anything gender or sexuality related, you should definitely consider Ohio State University. So for their MA program, It says that you should have completed undergraduate courses in women's, gender, and sexuality studies or some closely related field. It says that admission to their program is very competitive, and it says that the department typically admits between 10 to 15% of MA students. And then you can go in here as well just to see like the overview of their program, the timeline, funding, all of that. The next university we're taking a look at is Florida Atlantic University. So they go over like their mission, their vision, and then for the basics of the program, it says that students have 3 options to complete basically the program. So there's a completion of a thesis, 24 hours of coursework. But I mean, I'll just skip that part because I feel like you guys can go in and read more. I like to focus on the funding in this part so y'all can like I provide the funding and then you can go on there and kind of read more information about the university and how to apply. So over here for their funding, it says that full-time graduate students in good standing are eligible for graduate teaching assistantships that offset the cost of graduate education through tuition remission and a stipend. It says that applicants have the option to indicate their interest in a graduate teaching assistantship when they apply to the program as well. So that's awesome. And you can always click in here to just learn a little bit more about their program if you're interested and how to apply. All right, y'all. Our next university, or still looking into Florida Atlantic University, they also, in addition to the grad teaching assistantships, they also have some graduate scholarship and fellowships. So that you can see here, they have the Walter and Lalita Jankade Fellowship. They have the Annette Van Howe fellowships as well. So you can look into those. Our next university over here is the University of Alabama. So the University of Alabama have a Master's of Arts in Women's Studies, which is under the Department of Gender and Race Studies. So it gives you a little bit about the history and it talks about the program and the requirements. I think actually let's scroll down a little bit. And, they talk about the requirements, the admission standard, and then financial aid. So over here. So it says the University of Alabama's Women's Studies is one of the few programs in the U.S. with a permanent number of graduate assistantships, which we award to qualified students on a competitive basis. It says several universities have graduate programs in women's studies, but few have full-time assistantships in women's studies. So it says our graduate assistants teach introduction to women's studies or they perform research with a faculty member, which is awesome. And it says that if you plan to apply for an assistantship or financial aid, your application should be filed by February 15. And then it says that assistantship, let me highlight this part. So it says assistantship include a tuition scholarship for fall and spring semesters, doubling the value of the award. So again, another great school to check at, to look into. And then my next university that I'm talking about today is Georgia State University. So right here you can see it. It says research and teaching assistantships are available for full-time MA students. And their program, so they have an MA program in women's, gender, and sexuality studies, and they have 3 different areas of concentration. So they have globalization, sexuality studies, and social change. So again, another great program to look into. All right, y'all, the last school that I'll be highlighting today is the University at Alabama. So it's University at Albany. So it's the State University of New York. Typically we call it SUNY. Anyways, for them, same thing as well. They do provide you with different funding in the form of grad assistantships. But they overview what their program is, so you can read more information around that. They talk about the career parts you can focus on after you graduate with this degree. They talk about their deadlines. So if you're interested in getting an assistantship, you will want to get your application in by or before February 15th. All right, so those are 5 different universities for those people who are interested in studying women's, gender, or sexuality studies. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was a good video and if you like it and if you know that there's someone that it could be beneficial to, make sure to send it to them. Hit that thumbs up button as well. All right, y'all, until next time, my name is Winnie. Bye, y'all.